In today's Leeds news, Youngster to sign on, midfielder talks opened, issues with Kinnear move, and new executive vice chair. Morning folks, Share here at The View, Monday morning the 10th of March with your Leeds United news. Not a great weekend for Leeds. Back-to-back points dropped in the last two games after a stunning February. The curse of the early kickoffs as well as the Manager of the Month award hanging over Leeds United as we lose to Portsmouth at the weekend. A really poor performance by Leeds all up. There is a short review that I've done myself on the channel. You can check that out. The video was up there yesterday, just talking about the game in general and thoughts. Not the end of the world. It's not a full indictment of the season. There's still plenty of time left, and it was never going to be straightforward for Leeds. They were always going to drop points at some point, but I don't think any of us thought that we dropped those points, that we had that gap that we created as quickly as we have. But we'll have to see how we get on against Millwall during the week. We'll have a review for that before the game as well this week, but you can check all that stuff out if you want to. There's a little bit of news to get stuck into today, not massive amounts, but we'll start off with a youngster who is apparently being confirmed as will be signing on for Leeds United, and according to All Nigerian Soccer as well as the club's sporting director, young academy prospect Leonard Njenje looks said to have signed a pre-contract agreement with Leeds United and will join the club this summer. Njenje was mentioned a couple of months back as a potential player for Leeds. They were bringing him in from Africa on trial, but he can't sign for Leeds United until he turns 18 years of age, which will happen in August, according to reports and now been confirmed by the sporting director of Ikorodu City. He spoke and confirmed the move by saying the following: Njenje has an existing agreement with Leeds United. It's a pre-contract agreement. By August, he should be joining Leeds. He was scouted in Nigeria and invited to Leeds training for further training. He came back 2 weeks ago from Leeds. That should be his second visit to the club. He is being signed as a player for the future. They are waiting for him to turn 18 years of age. He has been spotted several times at Thorpe Arch as well as at Ellen Road during the 7-0 win, which feels like a lifetime ago now at this stage after the last couple of games. But he's been labelled as a young player with a very high ceiling, quality and a future star for the Nigerian national side as well. He is a left-footed centre-back and labelled again also as being a very versatile left-sided centre-back as well. Leeds don't have a massive amount of cover on that left-sided left-back position, but he is still 17 years of age, being signed as a player for the future. But an interesting one that Leeds are trying to get some other players in from other clubs around the world as well. That scouting net that Leeds are operating in getting bigger and bigger. We saw the announcement last week about Leeds taking over the Swedish Soccer Academy's development or running from Chelsea this season as well. So Leeds definitely spreading that net an awful lot wider in terms of bringing in talent and trying to get an early advantage over clubs who are scouting the underage setups at English clubs, specifically Manchester City right now. We'll move on to a transfer rumoured story, so pinch of salt territory with this, but it is a rumoured story and we'll give you the information. You can make up your mind on it, but according to reports today, Leeds have opened talks with a midfielder, but will have competition from sides in the Bundesliga. According to African Foot, they claim that Leeds are in talks to sign Turkish Superliga sides Göztepe's midfielder Anthony Dennis. The source claims a fee of £4.2 million be needed to be agreed before Leeds could pull the trigger on bringing the player in. However, it does also say in this report that Leeds won't be pulling any trigger on a transfer until they know what division they will be in next season. The report goes on to say that he has been earmarked as Nigeria's long-term replacement for Leicester midfielder Wilfred Ndidi. So if it's that level of quality midfielder coming in, especially for a Premier League player as well, it'll be interesting. You can check out his details online as well. But an interesting one. 2 African players linked this morning as well. Leeds, again, as I say, looking further afield for players. But I would take this one with a pinch of salt. It's coming from African Foot. They did get a story right early last season as well. So they are kind of in the middle ground. So you can take what you want from that. We'll keep an eye on it. And if any more detail comes out of that in the next couple of weeks, we'll bring it to you. But we're getting to that stage where those links are going to start picking up now, because we're a month and 3 quarters away from the end of the season fully. So we'll have to see. Moving on. Let's talk about Angus Kinnear and some potential issues being created behind the scenes, or at least will be created come the summer. Reports today from Mike Keegan at the Mail as well as Alan Nixon in the Sun claim that Angus Kinnear will be looking to take some key personnel with him when he departs Leeds United and moves across to Everton as the CEO in the summer. Nixon claims that Kinnear will take 2 or 3 key faces with him when he moves. Nixon also says that trouble is brewing behind the scenes due to this fact, and Kinnear could be set to cause some disruption ahead of Leeds' summer with the move and these exits of particular people. They've not been named, the positions haven't been named, and it's not even said to be confirmed that it will happen, but it is apparently said to be causing some rumblings behind the scenes. But the 49ers, in another side of this, could also be taking this opportunity to bring in their own key personnel now and to transition fully away from the end of the Radrizzani era of Leeds United ownership over to their new 49ers Enterprises version of the Leeds United ownership. So it'll be interesting to see if that facilitates that as well. But I don't think they will be letting this stuff happen unless they had their own ideas about who they wanted to bring in at this point. But we'll move on and we'll talk about a new executive position within the club. And this relates to news that came out at the back end of last week after the move of Angus Kinnear was announced to head to Everton. It's not a direct replacement for Kinnear just yet. They haven't talked about that, but it is an executive vice chairman position. So Peter McCormack, a Yorkshire-based lawyer, has been appointed as the new executive vice chairman of Leeds United, and McCormack will leave his position as the chairman of the football board and legal advisory group at the Premier League to take up his new role at Leeds United. On the news, McCormack, a former Leeds United director, said the following: "In some ways I have come full circle, as I was on the board of Leeds in the 1990s. I then went to the Premier League, which meant I could no longer play an active role at Leeds. I am delighted to be back and look forward to being able to use my skills and experience that I've gained over my time at the Premier League and the FA to benefit Leeds United." McCormack has been at the Premier League for 11 years, as well as the FA vice chairman for 6 years and chairman between the 2020 and 2022 seasons as well. As I say, the 49ers, with this appointment, now starting to put their own chess pieces, I suppose, into positions behind the club to get their version of what the future would look like for Leeds United heading into what could be, I suppose, either way, promotion or not, a very busy summer for Leeds United, whether it's sales or promotion. I'm laughing because I didn't think we'd be in this position a couple of weeks ago, trying to enjoy the ride. And Leeds, of course, can't let you have some fun. They have to keep you grounded and reality based, unfortunately. So yeah, it's interesting to see what they're doing behind the scenes there. It's a vice chairman role. It's not exactly a CEO role. Whether Leeds will look to push him into that role, or whether Leeds will look to bring in an American CEO to help with the commercial deals behind the scenes and getting Leeds more money from a revenue perspective coming in. There's some information last week in the news about that as well. You can check that out if you want to. There's not a whole lot else to talk about or go through today. The match review from yesterday's game, is available on the channel. There will be a preview at some point either this evening or tomorrow, a lot more likely tomorrow, ahead of the Millwall game. We'll get ready for that. It'll be the last game before the international break, and then we'll have to see where Leeds face, or what Leeds will have to do coming back from that. At the moment, no gap anymore, just goal difference and 2 points to Burnley. So it's a little bit nervy, and a little bit more nervy than it was 2 weeks ago when we had a nice steady gap and we're starting to pull away. But as we say, Leeds will always do Leeds, and Leeds will always make it interesting and stressful for us as they go about their business. But we'll see what happens, folks. That'll be it for me. Massive thank you as always for supporting the channel, and I'll be back tomorrow morning for more Leeds news. Enjoy the rest of your day. Talk to you soon. See you.